In and around the Loop, there are increasing signs of heightened security. Several buildings have guards positioned at doors. At the Bank of America building on South LaSalle, company flags have been taken down. The desks near these street side windows are now empty, and entrances on LaSalle and Clark have been closed.
Maybe we're one and the same.
Oh yeah, oh sure. Sure. Where the hell you been? We already shot great stuff.
I shot better stuff.
Hey, yes it is. Andy, nice to meet you. Nice to meet you.
Fitzpatrick. Nice to meet you.
All right, now we have
Johnson.
Yes, sir.
How are you, kid? Ready?
That tonight's gonna be a good night. That tonight's gonna be a good night. That tonight's gonna be a good night.
Giving away tax breaks for yachts and corporate jets, allowing big corporations to avoid paying taxes while many Americans go hungry is not a smart or responsible solution.
What made me become a nurse activist? Well, I was raised in the South, and my great-grandmother was a civil rights activist. She testified at a hearing with Senator Robert Kennedy. She gave her testimony on the difficulty she was having to vote in the South, and on her way back from Jackson, Mississippi, she was killed. To make sure that her death wasn't in vain, that's when I got involved in the Robin Hood tax movement. I believe health care is a human right, just like the voting right was. I don't believe that people should profit off of sickness.
I stand here as an occupier for the 99%. After I was exiled, narrowly escaped the Tiananmen massacre, I learned the precious but fragile nature of democracy. Last fall, Occupy Wall Street revived my spirit of struggle for economic and social justice. I am because we are. And we're mad as hell because bank got bailed out and we got sold out.
I think the backstory of this is back in 1968, there were some people, I think it was a film group, and I think you were working with Mike Gray and Haskell Wexler. Why don't you tell us why this coterie of great filmmakers and actors and people have come together here in Chicago during the NAO demonstrations?
Well, I think that, the idea that there are 3 or 4 generations of filmmakers working together to try to tell a story that should have been told already. In '68 we were trying to stop a war. And we're still trying to stop wars. And when it comes down to, Michael wrote a movie called The China Syndrome, which is about energy. And we're still fighting wars about energy. And the reality is we have the ability to power the world right now without fighting for coal, or oil, or nuclear weapons.
I've been a member of Veterans for Peace for many years now. Once I realized that the Vietnam War and all the wars since then have been based on absolutely nothing but lies. There's too many people with a lot of money that are in power right now, and they aren't going to listen until we get millions out in the streets. I think there's a pretty good crowd here today, but I'm disappointed in the size of it. Where are the rest of the people in this country, and when are they going to start to stand up for what is right?
My name is Aaron Hughes, and organizer for Iraq Veterans Against the War. As you know, an estimate of 1 in 5 homeless people are veterans, with approximately 67,000 homeless veterans sleeping on the streets any given night. We are awarded these medals: the Global War on Terrorism medals, medals that represent a failed policy. It's a failed policy that represents the 150% increase in suicide amongst active duty service members.
The biggest failures of these military occupations is the failure to care for our service members when they return home. Service members have the right to heal, and the NATO generals need to recognize that right. I served in 2003 in the invasion of Iraq, and then again in 2005 in Iraq. So for me personally, the VA has not been helpful.
What we're saying is we take accountability for our actions and our choices. We made the best choice we could with the information we had at the time. And we want to make sure the next generation has better options and better information to make better choices. You know, soldiers are soldiers. Mm-hmm. Once you join that brother and sisterhood, you know, you cross a lot of boundaries. And I think everybody can articulate, every soldier can articulate how difficult it is to serve and how many times they've been screwed over and lied to and taken advantage of, and their contracts and their agreements have been broken. You know, I opposed the war in Iraq from the beginning, but at least plan it well. I mean, if you're going to do an illegal war, like, have some thinking and planning. Don't throw out the reports and the ideas about the country, right? Like, that got thousands of people killed.
I'm one of the cameramen that photographed you.
Yes, I wanted to think, I had absolutely no idea that you were worked on Medium Cool.
That's right.
That's pretty...
but also, you know, I'm a World War II veteran.
Wow,
and
welcome home, brother.
And I didn't bring any of my medals, which I do have, but if I brought them, I'd give it to you guys. You can do whatever you're going to do to NATO. This statement from that person, what he represents, if it gets out there, and that's why I had to say what I said to him, you know. It's really important. It's our responsibility. It's our responsibility.
Military hands out cheap tokens like this to soldiers, service members, in an attempt to fill the void where their conscience used to be once they indoctrinated out of you. But that didn't work on me, so I'm here to return my Global War on Terrorism medal and my National Defense medal because they're both lies.
No amount of medals, ribbons, or flags can cover the amount of human suffering caused by these wars. We don't want this garbage. We want our human rights. We want our right to heal.
My name is Steve Atchison. I'm from Campbellsport, Wisconsin. I was a forward observer in the United States Army for just under 5 years. I deployed to Sadr City, Iraq in 2005. And I'm giving back my medals for the children of Iraq and Afghanistan. May they be able to forgive us for what we've done to them. May we begin to heal, and may we live in peace from here until eternity.
I'm Graham Putner. I'm an Army veteran. I spent a good amount of time in Afghanistan, and I just want everybody to look around. Look next to you right now. I'm talking to the police officers. I'm talking about everybody out here. There are thousands of people out here for something important. We're having a conversation for the first time in a long time. For many of us, for the first time. And I want to say that all of us, in some way or another, are trying to serve this great land that we live in. But it's only great because of what we do with it. And sometimes we make mistakes. And the way we change that is we admit our mistakes and we take responsibility for our mistakes. And we change and we become better and we do it together. So I'm returning my Global War on Terrorism medal because I don't fight wars on adjectives.
We've all survived the day Michael's ordered his second Chardonnay. Oh, his first Chardonnay. Don, what are your thoughts of the day?
As somebody said, when you have, in the middle of May, you have snow truck drivers on golden time, you know that sun's up.
Yes. It's been a long time, and no, I don't think that we're winning. I think that we're trying to figure out a way to look as good as possible on our way out, but you know, who wants to be the last one to die for a lost cause is what they always say, right?
Everyone bowing their heads. Andy, you know, Studs said when someone asked him about being the kind of guy he is, and he said, curiosity is not going to kill this cat. I did learn in '68 when you guys were there as well, and I say learn because the only way we can as filmmakers and as communicators is to learn things. And I've learned here I was here a few days longer, that we live in a city I love, a city under siege, and that the people are the enemy.
Okay.
You know.
The perspective is always distorted. The perspective is always out of whack. And now we realize that the media, which we are a part of, is perpetuating images and perpetuating lies and stories that we have to somehow counter and put out to the world without the resources of the big corporations, without the resources of the Time Warners, the Disneys, the Foxes, and be able to take this new thing called the internet and be able to try to put images out and try to get people to talk about alternative ways of living.
You know, when I talked to Mike about being here, we didn't really talk a lot about what you might call politics. If it's possible to feel patriotic about your city, or maybe patriotic about your homeland, that's the vibes I got from you.
Right,
yeah.
right, absolutely. Yeah. How do you think we did?